It's how the United States intervention was set up, financing, coordinating, and financing liberal institutes, 500 worldwide, 121 in Latin America, and some in Brazil. Well, through the creation of liberal institutes, okay? I mean, what was the idea back then? Margaret was still talking to Anthony Fair, who fought in the First World War, and so on, and based on the thinking of an economist named Hayek. What was the basis? This is written in the exchange of letters between Margaret Taylor and Fisher. Well, let's develop our idea, our ideology, not through politics, but by convincing society in a battle for ideas, creating a tool to reach people through professors, intellectuals, etc., etc. This begins in pre-Pretzel England with the Institute of Economic Affairs. And Fisher becomes a millionaire with the chicken industry, moves to the United States, and lives in the same condominium as Milton Friedman, a very important economist, liberal, so on, so on, so on. And they created, I'm summarizing the story, the Atlas Network was created in 1982. It's this institute that today, among many others, but this one that today has 500 institutes worldwide. And these institutes, this was the work of discovery and monitoring by researcher D. Camilla Fake Vidal, and then her students, are funded directly or indirectly by the states of the American government. For example, the CIP, which is one of those organizations that claims to be non-governmental, but in fact, it receives money from the U.S. State Department, from the United States, and then forwards it to CIP, NED, Atlas Network, Wilmont. There are dozens. And then philanthropic donations come into play.
Meaning directly or indirectly, it's
direct. For example, what is direct? Then Sade, that's in the first chapter. In the second chapter, Professor Camilla explains. So, AC, in 2023 alone, I don't remember exactly, had a $130 million program in the Amazon, operating on 48 million hectares, training 13,600 people, half of whhom are indigenous and Quilombola. In other words, training is paid. Well, and along with this, both in the Atlas Network and in this episode in the Amazon, there's also Pfizer, Coca-Cola, Philips Moore, Exo, all interested parties, all the interested giants. So, what is this? The proliferation of a discourse that seems to have grown from the tree. And how is this done, Gabriella? This is how it's done. You may remember that in the last 15 years, for example, the demonization of unions, the mortadella symbol, remember? Mortadella. What was mortadella? Mortadella meant that workers in Brazil, as in the rest of the world, unions financed the defense of their rights, the demonstrations, etc., etc. This was being demonized in Brazil. This preceded the destruction of much of the labor laws. But while they were building, they saw their liberal institutions as a powerful force for financing and coordination, you know? And as if FIESP wasn't just a union of employers. The National Confederation of Industries is a union of employers, and so are all the state employer federations, while they were destroying and demonizing fair financing.